Like, comment, and subscribe.
Welcome to NBNR, the authority on unfiltered opinions and authentic player insight for Nebraska athletics. Connect with us on Twitter, Instagram, and at NBNRPodcast.com.
We have the saying, no block, no rock.
You know, we just really love Utter. He's a junkyard dog.
Kenny Bell ran up to me. He's like, you know what you just did?
You get mad when you go get in the portal and go to another podcast?
You know, usually dumbbells are in pairs. They had 5 dumbbells.
Dang on it, Muhammad!
GBR.
Go big red. Indeed. No block, no rock. Season 4, episode 37.
Hey, you got it right this time.
Hey, the Sam Cook episode. Because you give me shit for not getting the episode numbers right. I got it right tonight.
Good job.
Okay? It's only my job. Do your job.
Do your job.
Good job.
I thought it was break the will now.
Yeah.
This week.
Break my will.
Yeah, break your will.
Break their will.
All of you are breaking mine slowly. Here we are in the Nebraska Brewing Company barrel room after some technical bullshit.
My God.
Difficulties.
You
I mean,
say
We don't need to
bullshit,
get
yeah.
into
It was pretty bad.
Honestly, like,
Kyle was so pissed.
I just want everyone to appreciate the shit we go through every Monday to get this thing going.
for you.
Redcast Rob said 10 more sleeps, and I'm getting drunk with Connor.
Yeah,
Hey.
he's going to be in town.
All right.
There we
Message
go.
me. He's going to bring in some Wellworks beer. Shout out them too. Shout out Rob for coming by. So I'll make sure the NBNR boys know when you get into town, we can all have a beer together.
Dude, Rob's really counting that down too.
Yeah,
I know.
Because that's 10 days, right? Like it'd be one thing if it was like 2 days or something, but going out from like 10.
Yeah.
He really wants to see us.
Yeah.
Or you.
We want to see Rob.
Yeah. Rob's
Yeah.
a good dude.
All right, guys. Let's go around, talk about the drinks we are drinking. Our listeners and watchers out there, you might not know this, but Nebraska Brewing Company, they have a pickle beer.
Wow.
You might be thinking, that is so weird. Pickle beer? Yeah, it's fucking amazing. And I get it every week. And I know you guys aren't the only brewery that has pickle beer, but it is the best in the state. That's why I get it every time. And I go to Hy-Vee and get me a 6-pack regularly. It's good.
So other news with that, if you go to a right now,
Okay.
it might be tough to find. However, it should be back. We're targeting next month. Should be back in stores, whatever retailer you like to go to. But I don't know if you guys know this. In Omaha, there is a very large sporting event every single year, the College World Series.
Indeed.
And there is, I have to toe the line of legality here, wearing the brewery hat. There is a bar right outside the stadium named after the stadium that previously hosted. They were called Rosenblatt.
Yeah.
There's a bar named after that stadium that will be carrying Pickle Fight during the College World Series.
Dude, that's going to be, that's going to be a banger.
Yeah. We'll have 4 taps inside whatever bar is named after Rosenblatt.
Yeah.
It will be there. And
Bruh.
if you come to that bar during the College World Series, I'm going to be there giving away T-shirts, koozies, beers, a bunch of stuff.
Let's go. And it's going to be 105 degrees outside. Mike's fucking up the...
I am this
Already.
close. This close.
Kyle's going to hit Mike too.
I was going to leave.
Anyway, they can deal with their bullshit over there.
Sky is
It's-
falling.
The microphone is falling. It's going to be 105 degrees outside. People are going to want this crisp, refreshing pickle beer. I'm telling you. It's like, I don't even know if it's 4%. Like, it's so light and it's drinkable. your thirst will be quenched like that.
Yeah.
You're gonna have many of them.
And it sounds like there's going to be some opportunities to meet the NBNR boys, come hang out and have a beer with us during the College World Series.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be doing
Yeah.
some sort
What
of
a- working
live
on it.
festivity.
What
Yeah.
a great opportunity for them.
Yes, exactly.
You get to
Absolutely.
deal with us.
Connor, what you got?
I am drinking Pilsner.
Sell it.
Does sound like Pilsner is going to be back in cans occasionally, but to your guys' joy, there might be another brief gap in Pilsner availability, but it'll be brief. We'll get through it together.
It'll be good for you. You
yeah,
just got to
that'll be-
branch out, baby.
Once it runs low, that'll be the day I really want a pills.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You did it last time. You and you dicks.
That was awesome.
Mike, what are you drinking?
So I actually switch my beer up every week, and I am
Barely.
trying not trying, I drink it regularly, but the Ale Storm. The sun was out. It kind of felt like baseball weather a little bit.
The sun
Well,
out for sure.
The sun
Yes.
was out,
So was the moon.
but also, yeah, there was a point where it wasn't out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess there was an eclipse today. Throw in the chat, guys. If you're tuning in live, we got about 57 of you in here.
Hey.
Where did you watch the eclipse? Did you watch the eclipse? Did you care? Did you stare at it without glasses?
How many of you have your eyes just
Yeah,
smoke come out of your sockets?
hope you are class.
Yeah, I did not look at the eclipse because I didn't have glasses. So
Hey.
Responsible
the,
Mike.
The one smart fucking thing he's done today.
you can't blame me for any of this shit that's gone wrong today.
I just trip over wires.
Tripping over
I
wires,
never
dropping your
tripped over it.
microphone 3 times.
I did
Yeah.
drop my microphone.
Mike, we can't say that it was your fault that the cameras malfunctioned. What you said, we can blame you, and I
Yes.
am blaming you, but I can't say that it was your fault.
Well, this thing's getting swapped out soon. I'm telling you that now.
KB.
I'm drinking the EOS Hefeweizen. Nothing new, but I'll agree. Beautiful weather today. A little windy. It wouldn't be so bad if it just wasn't so windy.
Yeah,
Hey,
You know.
even for the win though.
Even Tony Finotti will tell you that.
Yep. So yeah, I went with the EOS just because it's like a perked. It's not as good, I'll say, as the squeeze of the day on a nice, like really sunshiny day, but this is a good second
Hey, do you know when you can find Squeeze the Day?
this month.
This month.
Thank God.
It's coming back.
That's how you know
It is coming back.
It's getting to that time.
Our loyal listener Josh is back. He's back again.
Hi, Josh.
And his name. Shout out to our
Nate.
regular listeners that tune in every episode. We appreciate you greatly.
Josh and Nate the Great.
He
Hi,
asked. He
guys.
asked, "Do you want Purdue
Oh,
or
little
UConn
ass
tonight?"
man. How does the Cardinal get no love? You know what? Ask the Cardinals fan why he doesn't drink the Cardinal beer.
I don't know. It's just it's a pale ale, and like I'm trying to keep it cool. I'm trying to keep it crisp and pickly.
Yeah.
All right. So it's nothing against the Cardinal. The Cardinal's good. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
it's a great beer. And
I
it's
want a
going to be,
pickle.
I'll tell you what, Cardinal is going to be fresh on Wednesday. Oh, is it too early to say what we're doing next Monday?
Thing.
Yeah,
We're taking a day.
we
Yes.
we are taking a week off next Monday.
As
Lazy bums.
for our loyal listeners out there, we will not be live next Monday.
What's Josh and Nick gonna do next Monday?
Nate,
What?
Josh and Nate will not be attending the live stream next week because I will be in Mexico. And you know what? We've been busting our asses.
We have been.
We've done multiple episodes in multiple weeks, but we're taking a week off. But we'll be back the following week,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not going to be
right for the
gone.
spring game. So,
Yeah,
Okay.
anyways,
No, it's good.
Yeah.
I was going to say I was going to drink a Cardinal next week, and now I still will.
Cool.
You're just going to see me do it.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
last man said I can always count on Paul drinking a Cardinal.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
He's doing it for us.
Paul's got one right now.
He
is what he
does.
said. So,
Watching us probably.
Oh, Paul said he's drinking one right
Mhm.
now. Okay.
Let's
yeah.
go,
See,
Paul.
there you go.
Heck yeah.
shout out Paul.
All right. So we are in Nebraska Brewing Company's barrel room. They are open every day except Monday. So come in, get you a pickle fight, get you a Hefeweizen, get you a Ale Storm or a Pilsner. I'm telling you, Connor can attest to this every time.
Yeah.
World class.
And every glass.
All right. And like you said, the squeeze the day is coming soon.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's time. There is 18 days until the spring game.
Yes.
18.
Yes. But before we get into that, there's a couple big things in the chat that's going on right now. Number one, Nate says, Kyle, golf on Monday? Yes, I'm for golf. You just text me, you let me know what's going on. And then number two, because it is happening tonight, UConn or Purdue?
This is unfortunate. I feel like a lot of people expect us to say, we're Big Ten loyalists. I know that UConn is going to win, and B, I'm rooting for them.
You saw the script or what?
Yeah, dude, UConn is just going to beat the shit out of them. I don't it's going to be close, but it's not going to be that close. I think UConn by 10.
Well, I think a lot of Husker fans will say, I want Purdue to win because of the transitive property. That means Nebraska is pretty much the natty champs.
Yep, claim it.
That's not how that works, people. But
hey, we beat Purdue by 16. I'm just saying. We were there.
It was a butt whooping.
Zach Edey's a bitch.
Yeah.
I mean, ranked.
So I've changed my stance of Zach Edey. I don't think he's a bitch, but he's an oaf.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I don't know if you watched their game against NC State. Dude he looks so I don't know how much you want to talk about this, but it's like he got the ball ripped away from him so many times just because he's a bumbling oaf. He's just a big, dumb motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Which I know I'm sitting here and he could kick my ass. I don't care. But
yeah.
He's still an oaf.
7'4".
He's still an oaf.
I'd hope he kick your ass. He's 7'4".
I hope so, Zach.
I think Zach Edey could literally pick me up with one hand.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think he's a bitch. I just think he's an oaf.
Yeah. When you're that big, I mean, your coordination, it's impossible for it to be like
it ain't great.
He's not a juggler.
Yeah.
All right. Like
he's a giraffe.
Yeah. When you're that big, it's just you grow into that like very quickly, I feel like, and then you just lose all dexterity.
Well, and he's Canadian, so he's already kind of weird. Bob said in the chat, Nebraska beat Purdue, Creighton beat UConn. Yeah, so the state of Nebraska.
Creighton all beat Purdue, by the way. Did they not?
No, they didn't play Purdue.
Who did?
No.
What was it? Was the Final Four team that aside from UConn that Creighton had beat? It wasn't NC State. Was it?
It wasn't Alabama.
Creighton beat two of the final teams, I thought.
No.
I don't know.
I think it maybe involved the women's team or something like that.
It could have been.
Like, the state of Nebraska. Blah,
yeah, because the Final Four was Alabama, UConn, NC State.
Yeah.
Purdue.
I know that, yeah.
Who you got, Mike? Who you going for?
I think UConn will win. I actually got to see Purdue and UConn lose in person this year. I was at the Creighton game when they upset UConn, and I was at the Purdue game when Nebraska beat Purdue. So I've seen both of these teams in person. And I said all year that Purdue is actually really good. And like everybody was talking shit about Purdue, including Connor over there. And they lived up to the RPI. I said they beat up on all the non-con teams they played. They were beating up on them. They had a higher RPI. And everybody just kept thinking about the 16 seed that beat them last year. And then UConn, watching them in person and watching them lose to Creighton, that team is just different than Purdue. Like that team, they are well-rounded. I think they have better guard play than Purdue, which Purdue has great shooters out there. Sure. But I just think UConn has more dogs.
Tyler Krecklow says Jays beat Bama at home.
There it is. I have it up on my phone right now. I knew it was two Final Four teams for Creighton.
Well, good. Okay. So yeah,
good for them.
Good for them.
But
fuck them.
It is
hang a banner.
It is 1-1 on Natty.
Hang a banner, guys.
But it's 1-for-1 on the Natty.
Yeah.
So somebody's going to be claiming a transitive Natty here.
The state of Nebraska has beat both of these teams. Hey. Only time the Huskers are all one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
On this podcast.
I don't care. UConn, Purdue, doesn't matter to me who wins it. I truly do not care.
I don't give a shit.
I think UConn will win, but
yeah. Like there's a part of me, since I was on record saying that I think Matt Painter is an overrated coach. I just don't want him to win the Natty to prove me wrong. So fuck Matt Painter. Go UConn.
Oh, that'll be something to talk about. Maybe talk about. So Josh threw in a good point, and I feel like it's really catered for this podcast.
Oh boy!
But before I read that point, I do want to talk a little bit about Benson Honey Farms.
Oh,
Benson Honey Farms is a small business in Nebraska that is strong and resilient as the famous Cornhuskers. They take pride in producing high-quality, local-source raw honey that is both delicious and healthy. Like the Cornhuskers, Benson Honey is dedicated to their craft and puts in the hard work, dedication needed to produce a top quality product. If you're looking for a local source of raw honey that is as strong and as reliable as this podcast, No Block, No Rock, Benson Honey Farms is the perfect choice for you. So you can find that at bensonhoneyfarms.com and use the promo code GBR for 20% off.
And you know, boys really want to go out to the farm and just go check it out.
I want to make content.
They've got a serious operation going over there.
Dude, could you imagine us in beekeeper suits?
Dude, I want to.
It would be awesome.
I want to make content. Let's do an episode in beekeeper suits at the Benson Honey Farms, which is local here in Nebraska.
Bees just flying around us the entire.
Oh, I'm down.
Actually, I would do it.
It would be so funny.
I'm down.
Yeah.
If I'm in a suit, because I don't like bees.
Yeah,
But-
no, I'm definitely getting
Not the
a
bees.
suit. Like,
So
Hey, I don't know about you guys, but one of the things I like to do is get me a big box of Honey Nut Cheerios. Put some of that extra honey on top.
do you really?
wow.
Some of that Benson honey on top.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, the milk after.
So
Yeah.
I actually have been cooking with Benson honey recently. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Ashman said I would pay money to see Connor stung by a swarm of bees.
Okay, no, that's why we said. That's why we said in suits. And also, we've talked about this before. The jacket, the 95 Natty jacket.
Yeah.
Assman is the one who did it.
Mhm.
He has the replacement. I would imagine he's sitting within feet of it and he's holding it hostage until May, which is just mean. So, like, Assman, just mail it.
Well, he's doing it to Connor, so I
Yeah.
don't care.
Nobody cares.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. So the topic that we need to get into before we talk spring ball, because it is relevant and it's perfect for this podcast.
Okay.
Former head coach Scott was just recently interviewed
God. Why?
and talked about how he wants to get back into coaching.
He does. He really wants to get back in.
But he
learned
really-
his lesson.
He really didn't want to talk about his time at Nebraska.
No.
Oh, you know, the most important part of your coaching career.
Yes.
Yeah. Not only did he not want to talk about it, apparently Dennis Dodd really didn't either. You know,
I find that hard to believe.
I'm just like, there was nothing in the article. Did you not ask him a question? Like, how did that exactly work?
I
You know?
think-
like, who ran that interview?
I think Scott ran the interview.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and there was an allusion to it where he said, you know, I'm wiser.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm more tenured.
Good for you.
From what, motherfucker?
What have you been doing?
Yeah.
Golfing?
Yeah.
You're learning your lesson by golfing every day in Arizona.
He's
huh?
been pawning.
Well,
Okay.
And what is your pitch to any university? Because there are allegations that, you know, he's talked to other universities. Like, what's your pitch? Well, I can win 6 games.
No, he couldn't.
Yeah, no, you couldn't do it here. And you had the entire state and all the resources behind you. Why? I understand he wants to. I don't doubt that. Why would anyone hire you?
I want to be hired as a head coach somewhere. That'd be great, right?
Yeah.
You know, steady income. I mean, he's getting steady income anyway.
Well, you'll get hired. You're going to sign a contract and get paid a shit ton of money.
And you're
And
gonna
then you're
blow
going to
it.
get fired.
Yep.
And you're going to get a buyout. And then you're going to go golfing again.
Well, his
So I think
his
is that the
buyout
ultimate-
gone.
Is
Wait.
that the ultimate goal? Is that he just wants to get another buyout to get more money?
Hold on, I take it back. Scott is actually a really smart guy.
I mean, it's
Get
It's like
the
a
money,
circle.
get the money, suck, and go golf. I'll do that.
Dude.
I- like, I will come to your whatever university wants to hire me. Sign me for a couple milli. I will. You can fire me, and I'll leave.
brother. Give me 300 G's. I'll go. I'll suck, and then I'll leave.
Dude,
Like,
give me a
great.
I'll
30
do
rack
it.
of Bush Light.
Right.
Add it to the resume, baby.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, so let's go around the table.
Oh, boy. What?
We'll start with Connor. Do you think that Scott Frost will get another opportunity as a head coach?
Fuck no.
Okay.
Very definitive. Fuck no.
I think if you're an athletic director at pretty much any level, and maybe, I don't know, NAIA, I don't know, but like you see how his tenure went here. And I think any AD worth of salt goes, I'm not putting this man anywhere near like running a full-fledged team. Like putting him in charge of almost 200 people below him, including a staff, I cannot trust him. Just based off evidence. And I don't know about all the stories or whatever, if you want to count all those in. But just based on field results, I'm not putting it anywhere near running a full-fledged team. No.
So coordinator, maybe.
But you said head coach.
Yeah, you said
Okay.
if you asked me about he had an opportunity as an OC, that's a different question.
Okay. Katie.
I think a lower level program that has nothing left to lose could benefit from somebody like former head coach Scott. You've got somebody that proved that he could take care of business at UCF, and then he gets into this national spotlight Power 5 at a blue blood program, and he folds. He can't compete with the Ryan Days and the Jim Harbaughs and everything like that. But you go down to some lower level program,
UAB.
why not?
You couldn't be with the Burt Beas and Burt Ferences and the fucking
Right.
You know, you could count
PJ Flex
Patty
PJ Flex.
Fitz. Well,
Yeah.
I guess he did beat Patty Fitz.
a couple times,
Yeah.
but not in friggin' Ireland.
Right.
That's
But you know what I mean, though? Like
Yes.
a lower level program that just has nothing to lose, like an AD that's looking to get like a, I guess, PR hire or some big name. I mean, like it or not, Scott Frost is kind of a big hire for a low level program. I mean, it would raise a lot of eyebrows, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody's expecting him to fail, right? So you go hire him, and all of a sudden there's a lot of eyes on your program.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't know. I think a lower level program, would benefit from giving him a second shot.
I agree with you. I think that if he were to go to the G5 area, back at a UCF type situation where the talent, he doesn't have to recruit.
Mhm.
So something in the South or maybe even the West Coast where talent is easy to get.
Sure.
Lower mid-level area. I think he'd be fine. There's no expectations. There's no pressure from local boosters and friends and family that you are here to disappoint. I think he'd be fine. It's just the big time football programs. I don't think he could do it anymore.
No.
Hear me out. There's one program that is what I would call major that I think he could do it. BU. You want to know why?
Oh no.
Something about Mormons or something.
There's no drink in there. There's no drink in there. These are rumors.
So why would Scott want to
Why
go there
would he
then?
go there?
Hey, you want him to succeed? Again, I'm addressing rumors.
You know.
Yeah, just keep the booze away.
Well, look, if maybe if you're an AD, you're like, Scott, you went back to your alma mater, and that's a lot of pressure on you, and you didn't really have any guardrails put up. You had full freedom to do what you wanted. You could do no wrong. Maybe if you come here, wherever that is, New Mexico or something, we're gonna make sure that we put up rails, and we're gonna let you just do whatever you want. Maybe you're put in a tough position going back to your alma mater where you had to be the golden boy and the savior. We're not asking you to be that. Just can you get us to a bowl game every once in a while? Our fans don't really give a shit. Just don't do anything stupid.
Well, I mean, if you remember the UCF crowd, like they were undefeated and their fans never showed up to the games.
Yeah.
So like that had to be a night and day experience for him. When he came into Memorial Stadium, it's 90,000.
Well, yeah, and you get a comic book made about you. And
Everything else.
save it.
You're safe. You won the national championship.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Josh did say that he thinks that maybe Scott paid him to write that article to maybe put a feeler out there for a job.
Well, no, I mean, I wouldn't believe that just because like anybody that could actually sit down with Scott and have a conversation about that, of course, there's just going to be a million clicks. It is the ultimate clickbait. No one has talked to him since he left Nebraska. If you are the one guy that actually gets to sit down and somebody that Scott accepts to sit down with, of course you're going to do this story.
Well, and
I
he's
don't-
going to call the shots too.
Yeah.
Like Scott called every shot on that story.
Yeah,
He made sure to say what he wanted to say.
I don't think he needed to ask to have that happen. It was, the flood of people wanting to talk to him, and he finally said yes. And of course, did you guys read it? I read
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course we
I
did.
did not read it.
Well, I mean, look,
I'm sorry, I did not.
That's
I'm
fair.
sorry to shock anybody listening, but like NBNR is in the business of clicks and views.
Believe
So,
it or
like,
not.
No matter how much shit we talk about Scott, if he were like knocking on our DMs and was like, "Hey boys, I want to come redeem myself and have an interview with you guys," guess what? We'd be sitting right here the next day, ready to go with Scott.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
And I feel like I would hope we would ask more, I guess, hard-hitting questions than Dennis Dodd did. Like, it's just, you learn your lesson, yeah? All right, go on. What
Mhm.
lesson did you learn? I'm glad, I said it on Twitter. I'm like, Scott, I'm glad we served as your experimental fan in college, right? You know, in college, you do all this experimenting and you try to find who you are. I'm glad we could serve that for you. We could be your experimental phase. But now you're good to go. Yeah. Apparently, he's good to go because he came here. You know, he fucked up. He whatever. I'm glad we could be his little, experimental phase.
We're his lab rat.
His little lab rat. There
Listen, and it's not impossible to think that Scott really did feel like he was ready for the spotlight, ready to be the hometown hero, ready to be the savior.
He had to do it.
I mean, there's no reason why, and guess it fooled a lot of people, right? Everybody thought, this is going to be great. He's going to be the savior, everything like that. I'm sure he felt pretty confident coming into Lincoln. Well, so it just didn't work out.
Hey, the Big Ten did not have to adjust for him. No. Believe it or not. There was breaking news.
Oh.
Nate Oates at Alabama is the lead candidate for Kentucky basketball. Not really Husker related, but I found that interesting, Yeah.
Okay.
Nate
Oates
think,
is obviously a good coach.
Yeah.
I think Coach Cal is nearing the end of his career. He was certainly not producing the results needed. And Nate Oates, great coach.
Yeah.
I think it works for Kentucky. I think it works for Coach Cal. Best luck to everybody, I guess.
Yeah, I think Coach Cal, especially going within conference, I think it'll give him an opportunity to say fuck you to Kentucky multiple times.
Can you imagine he comes out this year and beats Kentucky twice?
I can see it happen.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Here's the thing. If Coach Cal recruited you to Kentucky and now there's already guys going to the port.
Yeah.
Why would you not go play for your coach at Arkansas and get the opportunity to play against Kentucky?
Yeah, and what I'll be interested, because I think Kentucky going into this season was the #1 recruiting class in the nation, and I think next year they were 2 or 3.
Yeah,
and what I'm interested in is the recruiting ramifications. I mean, and this is across any sport, any university, but when you're at that high of a level consistently, I can't imagine that there aren't a few of those big end recruits that aren't going to flip with Coach Cal. They weren't going there to play for Kentucky. They were going there to play for Coach Cal.
Yeah. I mean,
that was it.
We've had plenty of players on that say, you commit to a coach and a staff. You don't commit to a university generally unless you're a kid from Nebraska and you want to go play Nebraska. I'm just more interested in, after all this, it's going to be the ripple effect, the coaching carousel. And I love watching the coaching carousel. I just don't want it to affect my guy, Fred Hoiberg.
Sure. Yeah.
Because he was in an article. He was in an article. They were like, hey, good candidates to replace, at Kentucky. And guess what? I'm glad it's not him.
Fred Hoiberg was mentioned in the Kentucky article.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
Also,
I have stopped. You want me to read it?
No, I believe it. I just want to know who wrote it.
One thing
funny to me.
We have not addressed yet, on the note of basketball and Fred Hoiberg, Phelan Award winner, National Coach of the Year. It is not the Naismith. Don't get too excited, but it is a big one.
It is big.
National Coach of the Year.
So I had a big conversation with a couple of my buddies that follow basketball much closer than I do. And, they said the same thing to me is, the Naismith Coach of the Year is the one that's the big one.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, so explain the caliber of this National Coach of the Year award to me. And the way they explained it was this is the award for a guy who exceeded expectations the most.
And that's Fred Hoiberg.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. It's still a very big award. It's still very cool.
The video was cool as hell too.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't care if it's at the bottom of whatever caliber of award it is. If you're singled out in the country by anyone, I'll take that.
It's a big deal.
That's a win.
Yeah.
It helps
if you're involved with Nebraska basketball and you win any type of national award, we have no business being picky about which award it is, because my God, we can take all the awards that we need.
I'll take every one of them
historically. Okay.
So this article was on sportingnews.com, written by Mike DeCourcy.
Okay.
Yeah. He rated the John Calipari replacement candidates at Kentucky. He started with Mark Pope at BYU, Miller at Xavier, Rick Pitino at St. John's, Lamont Paris at South Carolina, Amir Abdur Rahim out of South Florida, and then number 6.
Hey, Freddie.
Fred Hoiberg.
Hey.
Could you imagine the riot in the state of Kentucky Rick Pitino.
Dude, it would be
Wildcats
so
head coach.
cool.
Bruh.
Can
It would
you
be
imagine
so
the
cool.
riot?
Well, and his son might get hired at Louisville, so
I know.
it would be even cooler.
That would
Patino is the GOAT.
that would actually be a Pitino v Pitino matchup.
Yeah.
Would be must watch TV.
Yeah,
Yes.
And I genuinely don't give a shit about either school.
correct.
I would watch that game.
Yes, but like I said, the coaching carousel, the ripple of well, now if Oates goes to Kentucky, then who's going to Alabama? And then that's a good job. So then it's like, who's going to take that job? And it's the timing of this carousel is just very interesting.
It will be interesting for Oates because, Bama, of course. What do we know them as? Football school.
Football.
Kentucky, like, yeah, Stoops is cool, but like, it's a baseball school. Don't get it twisted. So, he's going from basketball or football school to a basketball school. People care a whole lot more in Kentucky than they do in Alabama. That's part of the reason why I think Cal wants to leave because
Yeah,
he's like,
he's
dude,
done.
I'm kind of sick of this shit.
Yeah.
He's like, if there's one thing that we know about Cal, like he can recruit his ass off. Okay, that's the thing. But when it comes to the coaching aspect, maybe. When you get enough good players out on the floor, they do a lot for you. It makes your job very, very easy.
So what's interesting to me is like I see this like previous Nates to Kentucky stuff. Like there is smoke.
Mhm.
I see kind of as a win-win for him because if he stays at Bama, obviously he's now set expectations pretty high, making the Final Four.
Sure.
Yep.
But that basketball program has only very recently become like a program that we talk about. So expectations when compared to Kentucky are much lower. The win on the other side is Kentucky's got a lot more money based for that program.
Yes, to help him out a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think it's a win-win.
Yes.
He stays at a program that he's helped develop into what I wouldn't necessarily say national powerhouse right now, but I would say nationally relevant.
Yeah.
So he's helped develop that there. He stays there. Expectations are reasonably like Sweet 16, Elite 8. Kentucky, if you're not like an Elite 8 Final Four, that fan base goes kind of crazy.
Right. The thing with Oates is he set precedent at Bama.
Yeah.
He is the one.
Yeah, he doesn't have to follow Coach Cal.
So if he sucks a year, he goes, yeah, I suck based off the metrics that I set for myself, you mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you suck at Kentucky, it's because they're a blue blood and they've been very good for so long. But if you're OM, it's because of so give me 1 or 2 bad years.
Right.
Screw you, right? In Kentucky, he's not going to have that luxury.
This situation is like a poor man's Bo Pelini at Nebraska situation. Anybody thought, okay, Bo Pelini, he won 9 games a year, right? You could walk in Nebraska and win 9 games a year, right?
Roll over.
Yeah.
And obviously, Bo didn't win a national title like he did, and like Calipari did at Kentucky. But it's very similar. It's like, wake up, roll out of the bed, you win 9 games. You go hire Mike Riley. Is Nate Oates Mike Riley?
I don't think so.
No.
What I find, and we're not a Kentucky or an Alabama podcast.
No.
What I
number
what I'm gonna find most interesting here is Coach Cal, for all intents and purposes, pioneered the one and done system.
Yes.
That's not Nate Oates. It's not what he does. So I'll be interested to see if he changes his system or change what he does. That'll be a really fun thing to watch if that happens, because those are very they are diametrically opposed between Coach Cal and Nate Oates. They are very, very different in that philosophy. So
Diametrically.
yeah,
it's a big word.
Wow. Can you spell that?
I can if you want me to.
Yeah, do it, please.
DIAMETRICALLY. Diametrically.
All right. Well, hey, can we get a fact check in the chat, please?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you added like another T in there.
Yeah.
There might only be one T.
Well,
me,
grammar queen over here always gets it. So
yes,
There might only be one T.
yeah. So what's that Alabama guy, Willie? I don't give a piss about that.
Yeah.
don't give a
Well, look, like that's why at games. Here it goes with the squeak. That's
deflating.
My version of that for the Huskers, right? Let's go red, which is a perfect segue. Because let's stop talking about Alabama.
Please.
God. All right.
18 days until the spring game. Very general. Care who answers it first. I don't care. Just jump in. Just give me your your general feelings about this football team right now. Just how are you feeling? You know, we're third week of spring ball, spring game less than 3 weeks away. Just give me how are you feeling?
Okay, I'll give you one word. Organized. Everything that you're seeing. Now, we always preface this every spring because what we're seeing and what we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. We don't know any of that stuff.
Right.
I have the luxury of working for Hurrdat Sports. We go to the press conferences and we go to the open practices and stuff. But I'll tell you that the open practices are just all the dudes just standing around stretching. That's all it is. That's all you get to see. Anybody that you're for in regards to spring practices and stuff, they don't know anything because all you get to see in person is stretching.
That's controlled.
Do they look flexible?
Yeah. But I'll say this.
Toes.
Just from like looking at this competition that you're seeing with the 3 different teams, it just all seems very organized. They kind of know who should be ones, who should be twos, who's on the scout team, and everything is being ran as if it's some sort of like competition, basically. Like they've got their teams, they've got their point systems, we saw that for the first time last year. When Matt Rule came in, they had like the little teams that if you go out and watch a sporting event, you get a certain point, and at the end of spring training, you kind of figure out who's leading the group, right? But I think just for me, looking at all the things they're putting out on social media, you get this organization that everyone kind of has a job, everyone is being valued at all times. It does not seem like this clusterfuck of like what we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
And that's important. Obviously,
the spring league's kind of cool. I guess I do agree with you. Everything is controlled. They control everything you see. They control everything that is said, control everything that is branded. It is all in Matt Rule's control, which is good. The spring league is cool to me because you are trying to think of creative ways to get a bunch of losers to win. Like you're tricking them into winning competitions, winning reps against your fellow teammates, trying to get them familiar with winning. Like this team has been battered and beaten. They've lost close games for years. A lot of these guys have, and they just don't know how to win. So finding creative ways to have fun and challenge these guys to win and to be competitive, it's fun. Like I hope they do this spring thing every year because it is cool. And it's really cool to have 3 quarterbacks leading 3 different quarterbacks leading 3 different teams. And then all the transactions in between. I haven't really paid attention to those yet, but
yeah.
I'm going to give this idea for free to Adidas and the University of Nebraska. The Rattlesnake Boys, from what we've heard, are a fantastic squad in the spring. Give me a throwback jersey with a rattlesnake on it. Just like wrapping around a number, wrapping around the Nebraska. Give me some, because the Rattlesnake Boys was, I believe, one of, if not the original name for the team.
All 3 teams are based off of old nicknames of the team.
Yeah. Is the Golden Knights one of them too?
Yeah. Golden Knights.
Yeah. Give me some of those like cowboy boots that have the tips on the top of them. They're like snake heads.
Yeah.
Oh, those things.
Give me Fat Herbie wearing some of those boots.
The rattlesnake boy boots.
Give me a legitimate throwback jersey, not some bullshit with a small line around the numbers.
Yeah.
Like that. Let's be creative. We got a lot to do. We've been around since 1869. We got a lot of stuff to do to be creative. There's an easy throwback jersey.
Yeah.
Just give me one as royalty.
Or we could make one as NBNR.
Jared, what have you noticed about spring?
Well, just going back to this competition thing, I guess the thing that I like is, as far as we know, these teams like smatterings of players. It's not just your best going up against the next best. Like it's not your ones versus ones. Because I just kind of think back to myself playing. It's like, well, the ones are playing the ones and twos are playing the twos. It's just like, who's good and who's not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But with this, you're mixing it up. And like as far as I know, DR QB1, like he's playing with offensive line that might not be the 5, right? It's a bunch of dudes who might not be as good or they're younger. And And there's a part of me that likes that because it's going to put him in situations that might make him uncomfortable. And if there's anything that we know, guys, he's a true freshman and he's going to make mistakes, right? We've talked about it. He's going to make mistakes, learning curve, all of that. And if you just put him behind your starting 5 offensive line in practice, he might be comfortable. And there's a risk of being stagnant and comfortable where you're not really improving. But if you're put in these situations where your left guard isn't great, oh shit, there comes a guy, I got to do something. I kind of like that. The competition thing. Yeah. Everything that you guys said.
Yeah. So, and my thought process on it, as far as spring ball goes, and then you've got summer and then you've got fall, right? For me, I think the spring and the summer is meant for culture building and making sure that everybody on the team is for each other, trying to figure out who matches with who. And then you start getting into stunt midway through summer, you start getting into fall camp and you're like, okay, let's dial in the 1s, the 2s, the scout team, the 3s. I don't know what their number, how many they've got, but I think heading into fall camp, I think you're with the 1s, get all the 1s versus 1s, start getting that stuff all ironed out. But I think for spring, it certainly seems like Matt is just putting a focus on making sure that the team is spending as much time as possible together and making sure that competition is there and just this big bonding thing, right? While they're also installing the offense, the defense, things like that.
So if you could mesh what you two just said together is exactly where I'm heading. If I had to put this spring camp into one word, it's confidence. A, the team looks confident, but B, like you said, as you're splitting, 1, 2, 3s, whatever, these guys that, are going into the season maybe thinking I'm not going to get that many reps, you're going to get them now.
And you're playing against a starter.
Yeah.
Prove yourself.
We're going to build that confidence now. You got to come out here, you got to perform. Let's make you confident, because if we saw, and I'm going to reference specifically the O-line last year, by the time we ended that year, 3 of those starters were not on that O-line. They weren't.
Right.
We need our 2s and 3s to be confident and be ready to go out and say, that guy beat me out and, I was backing him up, but I can be just as good.
Mm-hmm.
This is culture building and confidence building, and I love it.
You talked about the offensive line injuries, right? Guys playing that you didn't really expect. You guys, how many different quarterbacks played last year?
A lot. I lost
3.
count.
One of them got more targets than Thomas Fedoni. We say it every freaking week. But you had 3 different quarterbacks play. And I could, we could talk about Starfield and all that. He was put in a tough position, I know. But I think of last year, what was the biggest bugaboo of this team?
Turnovers.
And there's a part of me that's what fixes that? Is it drilling something over and over? Maybe. Or is it having guys just play football?
Yeah.
And just you're simulating a game, right? If you're doing a drill over and over, they're still a part of your brain, right? Somewhere in your amygdala or something, where it's I know I'm not in a game, so
it's okay,
right?
It's medulla oblongata. Mama says alligators. It's so mad because they got all them teeth and no toothbrush. Okay, we did have a couple of comments in the chat,
but anyway, I'm just saying, put them in game situations. Maybe you simulate a game more often, and maybe you solve that issue.
And it's easy, their brain.
It's easy for the coaching staff too. You're looking at Dylan Raiola and you're like, brother, you're playing against a bunch of the 3s and we've got 6 interceptions. You're not even playing the 1s yet.
Yeah.
Why do we still have 6 turnovers? It makes it easy for the coaching staff to kind of look at these guys and be like, look, this is who you went up against this week and none of them are 1s and you still had 4 turnovers.
You're able to identify certain issues that you're let's do this now.
Yeah.
It also gives guys, that don't have a lot of opportunities to put tape out there and show what they got. So, no, I like the way that he's doing it. I like the game situation. We do have a couple of things in the chat here. First off, from Nate, he says, my feeling about the football team. Remember the first time a girl invited you over to study?
No.
You know what's up. All the signs are there, but won't let yourself believe it until it happens. So,
Exactly. Exactly.
yes, I do like that. Is in a nutshell. Derek said, aside from winning and developing Dylan, what do you guys think Matt will be focusing on the most this year? I think there is a caveat to that question with Dylan is he's looking at these 3 quarterbacks and he has to determine if he has to bring in another guy.
Mhm.
And at this moment, like if I was a betting man, I'd say yes, he's got to bring in another guy. He's got to bring in a veteran that is cool with, who wants to get into coaching, some sort of Casey Thompson type situation. But I think, if these 3 quarterbacks in Matt Rule's eyes, if he looks at them and he's like, no, 3 good, I think could win football games, then maybe he doesn't go make a move. But I think that is one thing I think he'd be focusing on. And then obviously you'd be crazy not to say the running back.
Listen, well, look, what's another thing that Rule's focused on? I mean,
trenches.
Look, it's Rule. Rule's talked about the offensive line and all that, building that up. For this year, I don't think that's something that he looks at and goes, I really got to put my hands in here, right? And put my fingerprints on this, right? Because we talked about how much we've bought in to Donovan Raiola and the work that he's done. There's a lot of experienced guys on that line. We talk about the D line. Looks pretty good, right? So then you kind of just run down the position groups, right? Running back, you could tell that there's still a little ambivalence there. We talk about how at running back, guys pop if they're really good. And I just don't know. We have that guy that pops. We look at wide receiver. He's brought in a guy, but there's a lot of young guys there. And tight end, the offense in general, besides, oh man, I don't even want to say quarterback though. He's a true freshman. Offensive line. Are you the most comfortable with offensive line? Is that what you're most comfortable with on the offensive side of the ball?
You would hope you're most comfortable.
The amount of reps that this O-line has just as a collective, that better be your confident position.
And look, your defense is fine. Like they were top 11 in total defense. You got Tony White there to lean on. So, I mean, you said running backs.
That's a big question mark, man. Like
it has to be.
That's stuff that I'm not Matt Rule, and I think I could lose sleep if I really thought about it hard enough.
Do I have a running back that will take pressure off my true freshman quarterback that I could just hand the ball off to this guy and he'll get me 4 or 5?
Dylan mentioned it in his press conference when we got to see him for the first time. He's like, hey, man, a good quarterback needs a great running game.
Yeah.
Like, of course you do. It takes a lot of pressure off of you. Assman says clock management, LOL. I would hope.
Yeah.
I would hope
he's never going to be good at that.
That Matt has seriously taken the criticism that he has to see on Twitter.
Yeah.
I would hope that he sees that and he's like, yeah, that's something I could grow on, or I could get some help with.
Hey, good leaders don't point the finger, they point the thumb.
Exactly.
So, yeah. I think that Matt Rule, just based on what we know about him, that he's okay with taking accountability. The previous guy did not.
So I'm going to be contrarian because I don't want to pick the running back room too. We talked about, confidence in the O-line. We've already multiple times stated running backs. I'm going to say, and I've said it 100 times now, I feel like these wide receivers, they're young. If these wide receivers develop, that O-line gets the blocking, that is how we're going to see Dylan Raiola shine. That's one thing that I am very excited to see. These guys are developing like they look like they could. This team offensively will be a force to be reckoned with.
Do you actually have 2 transfers on that roster that are actually going to shape up to be game changers?
I think Banks will. I don't know
Jamal
about,
Banks and
I don't know what
Nate. I mean,
I don't.
Jamal Banks, I have faith in.
Here, maybe I'm crazy for this. The name that I'm hearing is Demetrius Bell.
Yeah.
Right. Not gonna lie, that makes me kind of.
You're nervous about that, but we heard it all last year too, though.
Yeah.
That was like the dude that couldn't play. That
I look at his frame and everything. I'm just like, I'm sure he works hard. I'm sure he's very fast. I need another wide receiver to be mentioned that isn't Demetrius Bell. I don't know. Maybe I don't want to be a hater or anything, but like I want to hear Nair more. We brought him in. And look, Banks has been talked about enough. Where's Jaden Doss at? Where's the Doss action? And Jalen Lloyd, I think he's fine.
Yeah.
It's just I hear Demetrius Bell and I'm like, this dude didn't play all last year. Why are we hearing about him more than almost every other wide receiver? Just sure I like.
I really want, and it feels, and maybe I'm crazy, but it feels like it's been a long time since Nebraska has been able to talk about, like, we've got a real 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
I agree with you.
So I want to hear all of their names all the time.
Sure.
Like that's where my focus is this offseason, is on the receiving room. Because again, we understand that Dylan Riley is a freshman. There is a lot of mental transitioning that is going to have to take place during this offseason for him to be what we think he can be.
He and Danny Kaelin both mentioned the speed of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a transition.
Although they both took that question differently.
Yeah.
So Kaelin talked about how he felt that he adapted the speed of the game very well, where Dylan said that's something he had to work on, which just based on recruiting rankings and everything we know about the two guys, I just feel like I would have thought that Dylan wouldn't have to adjust to the speed, considering he played in Buford, Georgia.
Yeah, Buford.
And Danny played in Bellevue, Nebraska.
Bellevue. Yeah.
So that was a little surprising to me. I don't know if maybe Dylan's just being a little humble.
I was going to say,
or maybe he heard what Danny said and then he had to,
And I also want to who exactly is Danny Kaelin up against in practice,
Yeah, maybe he's going up against a lot of threes.
Different guys.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I don't know.
Like, I guess another thing with that, I'm curious to know how Matt Rule and the rest of the staff handled Raiola in terms of the media. Like, I just feel like they've treated him so far as if he's just another one of the guys blending in.
Yep.
For the most part, like you see these videos that are being released with him throwing the ball to Jalen Lloyd in the corner and getting the fans all creaming in their pants. You got to do that. Sure. But like, how do you handle talking about him going forward up until the game start? Like, are you trying not to talk about him as much as possible so there's not as much pressure? I'm curious to know how they handle that.
Matt Rule's already been handling it. I mean, that's the first time it was interesting.
There's still a long way to go.
It was interesting to see like Matt Rule roll the 3 out. That was like when that came across the emails and things like that, we were all just kind of like, whoa.
Yeah.
All 3 quarterbacks are going to be up there for the press conferences.
Yeah. Instead of just DR.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or just Harburg. Like they didn't hide him either though.
Yeah.
No.
So they're kind of just doing that good medium of, we're gonna show Dylan because he is in this competition, but he's not the only guy in this competition. And then we're also not gonna hide him because then
that would be like really obvious.
It's concerning.
Yeah.
That's that's the organization and the control by Matt Rule. We were just talking about it.
My thing is, like, if you want to get treated like you're a top tier quarterback in this league,
sure,
win me a game first. Until then, you're just another guy trying to win a spot.
Yeah. He hasn't played a college snap.
Yeah. Until then, you're just another guy trying to win a spot.
Well, I mean, like, you've got your boy on defense. He comes out and he says, I haven't done shit yet. We have this squad has not done anything yet.
Yep.
Like, I would imagine that's pretty much across the board for Marcus Satterfield, for Matt Rule, for Glenn Thomas, everybody. They're just looking at it and saying, well, this group right here has not done anything.
Yeah.
So why roll out the red carpet? Obviously, you need to do that for recruiting and things like that, but why roll out the red carpet and make this kid a star when he's not throwing a single pass in game time?
Just real quick, I know you said like something about being concerning, like, and that's kind of where my question kind of stems is, if we don't hear a lot about DR, I think a lot of people might kind of panic a little bit and say, why aren't we hearing more about him?
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I'm trying to take the angle of, if we don't hear about him, I'm not going to freak out, because I think it's also kind of in the plans. That's part of the plan.
Everything.
Is to not really talk about him all that much. Because, again, you don't want to elevate him to this status when he hasn't even taken a step yet.
Like I said earlier, Matt Rule, everything he's doing is with reason. Everything. from the way they communicate to the way that they put graphics out there, the way they run their practices, the way that they run their coaching clinics. Everything is done with purpose.
It's all
So
part of
the way handling Dylan Raiola is with purpose. We did have one comment in the chat from Big Red Junkies. They said, "What up, gents?
What
The
up?
wide receiver room looks strong, adding Banks alone, but throwing a healthy Nair in there brings tremendous confidence to that room for us." Yeah, I mean, you can't teach in-game reps like that. That's the thing. Like,
right.
that's one thing. All these young guys, they don't have the in-game reps like those two guys. So yeah, I think that would be good.
Well, what do we know about Nair? Deep threat.
Deep threat, big body.
It's just, again,
Healthy ability.
Junkies. Dude has been injured a lot.
Yep.
Again, I haven't really heard too much about Nair so far. I'm not saying he's not going to be a non-factor. I'm keeping my expectations low.
Yep.
I just am.
Redcast Rob said, "That's my point of these young kids play early. As they get older, it helps with depth and development." Yep. I mean, yeah, that's definitely, that's why they're doing it. That's why they're mixing and matching the teams. Everybody reps and doing lots and lots of reps.
That's why Danny Keelan's going to play in 5 games this year.
Yeah, right.
4. Said 4.
All right.
They're not going to burn that red shirt. You're insane.
And then Trevor said, "We're forgetting about Malachi too." And honestly, Bullock
Right.
wasn't bad at receiver last year, in my opinion. A name that I forgot
Bullock?
that was still on the wide receiver roster,
Mhm.
IG. Like,
Yeah.
what? That guy's
He's one
still
of-
here?
He's one of the GMs for the
Yeah,
teams.
that's how I figured out he was still on the team. Like, we're talking about all these other guys. Like,
Right.
IGC has a bunch of in-game reps.
like, no offense to Demetrius Bell, but like he didn't play all last year. So like only about these other dudes.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm a little worried.
I think it'll be okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So fast.
Okay. Game and sneers, everything will be okay.
You know
Yeah.
what? You know something that we haven't heard anything about? That my number one concern? Special teams.
Mm.
The kicking game.
Give me a goddamn field goal.
We had a freshman kicker last year
5-star.
who was a roller coaster of a kicker last year.
Yeah.
We haven't heard anything in spring about the kicking situation yet. I don't know if they're not kicking. I know they're putting themselves in like certain situations and executing different game situations, but like I want to hear, how's the kicking game going?
How's Tristan?
How's the punting game? Is Bushini actually punting the ball more than 30 yards?
Oh boy.
Like it's just the roller coaster of our specialists. That is going to determine the games. The whole thing is called chasing 3, and we haven't talked about the guys who make the 3s.
Yeah,
Fair.
it is fair.
Look, for Tristan, freshman last year, like you said, yes, a little up and down.
A lot up and down, like 50%.
Sure, it'll be fine, Mike. It'll be fine.
Okay,
It'll be fine.
I feel better now.
The
There you go.
Do you?
Bushini inconsistencies last year was shocking.
That's
was
more
bad.
concerning now.
Can someone look up what was his average punt length?
And that's not
from
even
last
like
season?
that doesn't tell the whole story though, because
Not top 50.
No.
Bushini would have like a 60-yard punt just out of the blue, and then he'd go punt the ball 30 yards, and it's
Right,
just
he outpunted Torrey Taylor when we
in the
played
Iowa game.
Iowa.
Yeah, but then
it's
the
like-
week prior he couldn't kick the ball 30 yards. It's just the inconsistency at that punting position, and then especially at the kicking position. They were bad. They cost us games last year.
Yeah, 100% they did.
Yeah, hidden yards and all that.
Take a drink every time Jared says he's keeping his expectations low. That was Trevor.
We
Trevor
cannot
Shea.
do that. We
Trevor,
will be
Hey,
hammered.
Trevor.
the first time Trevor ever
Yeah,
tuned
what
into
the
the
fuck?
podcast.
He might be outside right now. He might be outside the doors right now.
Yeah, just
Hey,
pulling
Trevor.
up, let me in.
Trevor, am I wrong?
No, keep your expectations extra low.
I wouldn't say extra low. I would just say don't. I know Rob's watching. Don't go drinking that Kool-Aid. At least don't chug it. You can take a sip.
You ever
Like
you ever
don't go
no.
chugging that.
There's no
Like-
Kool-Aid season in the spring right now. You just can't.
Bushini averaged 40 yards per kick.
Yes, and that
Mhm.
doesn't tell the whole story.
And no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Of course not.
But like
You know.
I don't know, 40 yards a punt. Like I'd like a little bit more.
What's the highest? Like what
Ever?
was
Like
yeah.
what was Sam Cook's?
Well, no, I mean just like what's
What's a good average? Is
Yeah,
that what you're
who
asking?
led the nation last year and what was their
Well,
average?
Torrey Taylor for sure.
Yeah, maybe.
He was probably.
Yeah,
but again,
but Taylor punted 21 times last season.
Yeah.
Like,
You want to talk about reps? That boy
Yeah.
got reps.
His
It's
fucking
his
leg
leg-
about fell off.
yeah, is it either his leg is just yoked or it's about to fall off.
Yeah.
oh my, what?
I just wonder if Tory Taylor's going to get drafted.
Yeah, he'll get drafted.
Like, you think he's going to get drafted in the first round like Schleckler?
No, he'll be like a 4th or a 5th round pick, I'll bet. But here's the thing is, what I'm going to find hilarious is Tory Taylor's going to get drafted, and there's going to be these massive expectations. Like, he set the record last year. Like, he's the greatest punter ever. And they're not going to realize, no, Tory Taylor just punted every drive.
Yeah.
He punted every drive of every game.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself. Kool-Aid 24/7 365/366 this year.
You don't even have to tell me who that was.
Yeah, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Jesus, you guys, man.
It's the worst.
Oh God.
I'm saying you could sip it right now. You
No.
could sip it.
That's your job.
Um,
And then we bring you back down to earth after we go 5-7, and we're all sad again.
Yeah. It's the worst cycle that we go through every
I know.
fucking year.
it's been 8 years. I guess just kind of the last thing. I don't know how long.
We've been going a while. We can.
Okay.
This will be the last thing.
I'll just say, this could, if you guys want to get specific into the positions. Another thing that I like about the defense, besides them playing very well last year, is I have confidence that they're giving our quarterbacks good looks in practice. And I think when you look in the past, whether it's Chins or Diaco or whatever, you couldn't exactly say like, yeah, our defense is really good and they're giving our offense good looks in practice. And so I love how there's Polar Bear and there's Ty and there's Deshaun Singleton back there. And it seems like Tommy Hill is a guy that's hopefully turned a corner. Like they're giving legit looks to our quarterbacks. And so hopefully that will just prepare them even more for UTEP, etc.
I found funny. There was this list that, and I don't remember who put it out, but it was the highest graded returning player for each team.
Yep.
Tommy Hill was that highest. I found that interesting because I would not have guessed Tommy Hill.
Yeah, he was good at corner last year, man.
He was.
And then he also returned kicks. So
Yeah.
Sure.
But no, he'll be exciting this year.
Like I think of Hausman when he played as a freshman, and he popped off the page a little bit.
Yeah.
And Michigan wanted him because he did. And then I see a guy like Prince Will and Riley Van Poppel and Lenhart Poff as true freshmen. And they're still here. Like, again, just gives me hope in that defense that, and of course, Tony White, assuming he stays for a very long time. Please, Tony. I love it. I love that. I love the defense. I love the culture that they're building over there. And I love that nobody could come poach any of those, like 3 guys in particular, even though they could have been gettable by really good teams. So I like that.
Do you think it was the fact that they couldn't be poached or that they didn't want to leave?
Right.
Because
I think both.
I think this staff has a genuine belief in the system that they're working. I think they all understand that this wasn't a 1 or a 2 year process. It was a multi-year process, and just the goal is not natties right now. The goal is getting back to being a reasonable conversation, and like this team could make a run at the Big Ten. And I think they all genuinely believe that they can do it. And so I'm sure that Tony White got offers.
He did.
Yeah,
100%.
Like I think they all just believe in what Matt Rule and co are doing.
Yeah. No, I like what you said about the freshmen, Jared. Like wanting to stay here. And now you kind of turn the page to the 2024 class, and you're thinking, okay, which freshman's going to stand out, this year? And I'm hoping it maybe like a Vincent Shavers with that thin linebacker position.
Yeah.
Like that's a position that I think it's in good hands. You still got Buddha there, and you got Bullock
MJ.
coming back, and MJ, and so you've got a lot of guys. But I'm hoping that like a Vincent Shavers or somebody like that in the middle of the linebacking core could get some reps and hopefully shine.
Yeah, if there's any position on the defense where it's a little like, it's linebacker.
Yeah. And I'm not even worried about linebacker because of the guys like Javen played really good last year.
Sure.
And so did Bullock play good and
Yeah.
his minutes that he had. So
Just hopefully Stephon Thompson, we can hear more positive things. That transfer from Syracuse. That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah, the one thing I read about the Stephen Thompson is that right now they said that Shavers looks like Thompson. They thought he looked like when he rolled into Lincoln, and Thompson looks like the freshman, which is odd to me.
Yeah, I mean Thompson played like significantly
3.35 for Tony White. So yeah, I hope that's all just spray smoke talk, whatever. But yeah, it's one of those things that I mean, I don't care. Let the best guys play. I don't give a shit who you are. So
I don't care if you're a true freshman or if you
I don't give a walk on.
Don't give a piss about nothing but time. All right. What do you guys think?
Let's do it.
You want to talk about?
No.
Oh, Nebraska baseball still leading Big
there we
Ten.
go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
Shout out
listen,
Nebraska Baseball.
Brett Sears, Friday night guy, Big Ten pitcher of the week. Dude, pitcher of the weeks. He was named like top 50 for the Golden Spikes Award, which is a pretty damn big deal.
Yep.
So Brett Sears, great job on the series 2-1. Despite losing to fucking Creighton. God,
That one hurt.
Jesus, man.
That one hurt.
Stop losing to Creighton.
17 games left.
It's just Creighton cares more. Just Creighton care more. They care more. They bring more energy every freaking game.
I think it's
Come on, guys.
that
They're not mad enough about this.
it's fun to be on the other side of this because we hear it from Creighton basketball fans all the time. Creighton baseball beating Nebraska is your Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Like, that's your
fucking
Super
do it.
Bowl.
And win Super Bowls every year.
They do. They
God.
do. They win them a lot, but it does feel nice. Nebraska baseball on a great track. 17 games left. I would love to see, like 2 years ago. I feel like this team is very given similar vibes. I'd love to see at least a really good shot at the road to Omaha. I think it's possible.
Absolutely.
Oh gosh,
Dude.
I wouldn't hope.
Well, look, and I was looking at stats, right? A big thing with Evan Bland, we had him. We talked about the strikeout to walk ratio.
Mm-hmm.
And before this series with Ohio State, I looked, and they were 15th in the nation in strikeouts to walks. There's a lot of teams in college baseball, and they're top 15. I don't know what they are after this series with Ohio State, but Rob Childress effect. And it's only year one. So hopefully he can get some more dudes in. Hopefully he doesn't retire because he's kind of on the older side.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's the pitching, the improvement in the pitching is very real. And Brett Sears, keep it going, brother. Friday night guy. They got Kansas next. Haven't played them since the Big 12 days. That'll be kind of a weird matchup.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What do you say, listeners out there? Our watchers, hello. Go to NBNRPodcast.com. We got merch. We got past episodes. You got the hat on. Mike's got. We're not selling that hat.
Yeah.
No, that's a Mike special over there.
Yes.
We got GBRBI merch there for any baseball fans, which should be all of you. Hop on the bandwagon. Ranked like 20th in the nation.
And the GBRBI merch is freaking sweet.
Looks
the university couldn't put out better than that or something.
It looks dope.
And it's Adidas. So
The new hats are sick too.
yes, they are.
I'm at a new hat probably tonight.
Yes, absolutely.
Looks good.
Make sure if you aren't ready, because I know like 120 of you that are watching are on Twitter. If you could pop over to YouTube and hit subscribe, that would be awesome. We're trying to grow our YouTube channel. And
Tattoos.
Get tattoos.
When we hit 1,000.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
that's what you're excited for. You want that tattoo.
that's what it is.
I think the boys on the street call them tattoos.
Tattoos.
Yeah.
It's a big old tube right across his forehead.
Otherwise,
The state of Nebraska.
week off next week. So just a reminder for everybody listening that we are taking a week off for the first time in probably over a year. I'm not even joking.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
It's been a while. We haven't taken a week, but we'll be back in 2 weeks from now, and we'll have some good guests lined up, and it's good.
Yeah. Please just subscribe.
Come on!
It's free.
Just freaking do it.
It's
Yeah.
free.
Go to
Just-
YouTube, subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Sorry, I just want to apologize, man, for all those people that got to hear that horse shit.
Yeah, we're working on it.
It'll get better. It'll get better.
But still listen to the message.
Yeah. Okay. Do still like and subscribe.
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the same handle. NBNR Podcast on YouTube as well. All right, guys. I'm one of your hosts, Jared Hall.
Mike Dillon.
Kyle Byers.
Connor Cadillac.
Jesus Christ.
You're
As
welcome.
always, fuck Connor. Beat Kansas and GBR.